Welcome to NHL News Reports, and today we're talking about the New York Islanders and the season preview, so let's get into it. We're going to start on to the 17-18 stats and the 18-19 stats, kind of compare those two seasons and see what the upcoming 2019-2020 season might look like. So, start off with the 17-18 stats. They were 35, 37, 10 with 80 points, no playoffs. They had John Tavares, that was his last year, his contract deal, and he didn't want to sign. Well, he was either like, I want to go to the Islanders, or I'm going to go to Toronto Maple Leafs. But guess what he picked? Toronto, we all know that, right? And so the Islanders were like, that's just great to know, isn't it ever? So they're like, they're like, well, at least we have enough cap now. Like, literally, that's the only benefit to it. But looking at that, everyone's like, this team's still not going to perform. How are they ever going to do it? Looking at the 18-19 stats now, with 48, 27, 7, or 23, or 103 points. And then people said, Leno coming in. Oh, please, we saw enough of Leno, you know what I mean? In Buffalo, what he did, he absolutely did horrible in Buffalo, being 31st in the league. Are you kidding me? They had to actually play against this team, you know what I mean? We had to actually take Leno, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? But 18-19 season proved that Leno got better, got over it, done fantastic with Leno and Greiss as a great duo. And what a season. But what happened in the first round of the playoffs? They played against Penguins, and they sweep the Penguins 4-0 of a series. And then they play Hurricanes, and then they get swept. The Islanders get swept by the Hurricanes, and then the Hurricanes play the Bruins, and then Bruins sweep the Hurricanes, and then I thought it'd be like Bruins get swept by the Blues, just be funny, but no, that's not what happened. But it was pretty funny. But yeah. Why does it look like this? There we go. I don't know if you understand that W, but whatever. So they lost in the second round, swept by the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay. Who are the new players to the Islanders? They really haven't done an offseason. Not much to add, they said. They're not going to do much. But the ones who are new is Varlamov as goaltender to replace Robin Lehner as going to the Blackhawks. And Oliver Wahlstrom could make the team. That's why I put a question mark saying, is this possible? Could he come to the team? He looked absolutely fantastic in the summer showcase with Cole Caulfield. Both of those guys, I like Cole Caulfield so much. But Wahlstrom's looking really good, and he might make the team next year, so we'll see if that actually happens. And also, I'd like to write one more player I did not think of yet. Noah Dobson, does he make the NHL? That's my question, too. I had to put it down there. I kind of never thought about it. I'm like, ooh, Dobson could make it too. So looking at that, Dobson, Wahlstrom, two young guys. What a great pickup these two guys are. I think these are great. One defenseman of Dobson, and the other one, Wahlstrom, looks a really good goal scorer, so that can really help him out. So looking at the ones who left, Filppula went to the Red Wings. He goes back to the Red Wings after a long time being with the Red Wings before and then being with the Lightning. Red Wings, Lightning, Islanders, all that stuff. But he's back with the Red Wings. That's when they were really good back then. And then Stefan Gianta has left. He's still a UFA out there. Spiza is still a UFA. He's out there. And Leno has signed with the Blackhawks. He took a one-year deal with the Blackhawks instead of taking 2 years with the Islanders. Kind of confused why he did that. But whatever. My thing is Leno coming back to the Islanders next year then? 2020 season? What are they going to do with Greiss? If he leaves, do they bring in Leno? That's the whole idea. But then you have $10 million of goaltenders. $5 million here, $5 million there. You know what I mean? Do you do that? I have no clue. What do you do about that? I don't know what Leno was thinking. Why, take 1 year? I would have took 2. You know what I mean? But whatever. Well, another improvement year, maybe. I don't know what he's trying to do. and he really liked the Islanders. Kind of confused on that. So these are NHL lines from NHL.com, and I added players that were not on that line list too. So we'll see about it. Lee, Barzal, and Emberly. I think that's a pretty good first line there. Of course, Barzal can score. He's a great passer. He's a great shot. He's fast, speedy guy. Definitely see some good stuff from him. Emberly and Lee will be really good. Lee just got a $7 million contract. He's happy now. So they have a pretty good team on this first line here. Second line is Beauvillier, Nelson, and Bailey. And that is the second line. And then you have Beauvillier as that great left winger, youngster there. And then you have Nelson down the middle, and then you have Bailey on that right wing. And then right there, that's a pretty good first, second line right there. And then you have Martin, a good physical guy on that left side. You always could use a guy like that, so that's good to have. Definitely he was from Islanders and then went to Toronto in 17-18 season, and then got traded back to the Islanders for McAdam and all that. But then Taylor Fritz was a good center. I watched him against the Coyotes once on the penalty kill. They put him on the penalty kill with Lambert as the coach there of the defense, or the PK also, and he did absolutely fantastic job. I saw some good stuff, and Fritz was taking that puck and just absolutely taking that puck and just holding that puck and putting it down the zone, and the Islanders fan loved that, and they really liked him holding that puck away from their own offensive zone. I mean the defensive zone. Okay, Komarov is a pretty good right winger there. Came from Toronto before, a couple of Toronto Maple Leafs here. Though from 17-18 season, that was the last year, was Komarov and Martin were together. But of course, those guys last year played with the Islanders. And both of those are pretty good players. Definitely, they give a little older players with them, but they try to do a good job balancing the ice time out too. If all of them get even ice time here, instead of one gets all the ice time and one doesn't. So Ladd is in there too. Andrew Ladd, he's getting older with a $5 million contract. You know what I mean? That's a contract, maybe try to get rid of. But how would you get rid of that without giving up a good special player to sweeten up the deal or something? You know what I mean? Wahlstrom, I would love to see him play next year. He has a great youngster. He is as good as Caulfield. He looked really good. Both of those guys are absolutely fantastic players. He's a great goal scorer there, is Wahlstrom. So we could see some good stuff from him. Ross Johnson, he's from the Pittsburgh Sound Tigers, plus the New York Islanders, and he put around 4 points in 14 games. It's okay, but not good enough to be he's making the team. We'll see if he does or not. And you have Josh Ho-Sang, the one that the Islanders, Josh Ho-Sang doesn't think that he got enough ice time and he didn't get much of an opportunity, but Islanders are trying to help him, but he doesn't. The whole thing, he keeps getting sent down to the Pittsburgh Sound Tigers. Who knows what the problem is, but there's a problem there. Maybe he gets traded. Who knows when that would ever happen, but I think he's kind of mad with the Islanders not getting the opportunity to play more with NHL after the Islanders trying to be you're not playing good enough, so, you know what I mean, but whatever. And then you have Michael Delacour. He might play next year. That's something that could happen also. Maybe part-time NHL and then part-time AHL with the Sound Tigers, who knows. And then the review of the forwards. So I do like the first, second line a lot. The depth is pretty good, I gotta say. I like to see Wahlstrom make it next year. Hopefully, you see good stuff from all these guys. This is a pretty good forward depth feel. But definitely pretty good. Let's move on to the defense. You have Leddy and Boychuk. Two older defensemen. They're all getting older, but they're still good enough, I would say. And they'll coming into the early 30s there, so definitely all getting older. So one day you're gonna have to find a way to replace those two guys pretty soon, but you will. They will. And then you have Pelech and Pulock. Both of those, Pelech and Pulock, yes. Two great guys, good defensemen, great shot from both those guys. Definitely they were good on that second, third pairing. Definitely will be good. Devin Taves, I could see him move up to where Leddy is. Definitely, I could see that happening. next year. I don't know why they had Leddy on number 1, but I could see Toews taking out the number 1 left side. What we saw in the playoffs in Carolina and what we saw with against Penguins and Carolina, he did a really good job quarterbacking that power play, doing a lot of good stuff on that. So I think he might move up to that first line. And then you have Mayfield on that right defense, and they have Hickey and Sebastian Aho. Of course, this is the Sebastian Aho of the Islanders, not the Hurricanes, and Sebastian Aho of the Islanders are defenseman, and Sebastian Aho of the Hurricanes is a center. There's no both of them are not related. They're actually both from different countries, but looking at that, Sebastian Aho from the right defense, it's kind of weird calling him Sebastian Aho because I'm thinking always of the Carolina one. But you know what I mean? Hopefully he can get a full-time job, hopefully with the Islanders pretty soon. He looks pretty good. And then Dobson, does he make the NHL? That's something I like to know. And then we have our before we get to goaltenders, I like to talk about the review of defense. I do like the defense, but it's getting a little older with Leddy and Boychuk. I'm a little question mark with those two guys. Who knows? We'll see. And then the goalies are Varlamov, Greiss, and Soderstrom. Varlamov signed 5 million or something like that. We'll see if he's injured a lot or if he's not. We'll see about that. And then you have Greiss as a good backup / they're going to kind of split time together. Greiss, too, is a pretty good goaltender, too. Definitely bounced back last year after having a horrible 17-18 season. Absolutely pathetic after having the previous year's pretty good seasons. And they have Soderstrom in the Bridgeport AHL Sound Tigers there. We'll see if he makes them. Sure, he will for a couple games if Varlamov's out or injured like he always is. We'll see what happens there. I think he'll play a couple games and see how he is, how good he is, how good he's going to play in the NHL. Maybe he takes on a spot, maybe, or something happens there. And the last but not least, I like to talk about what they still need. What does the Islanders still need? And I think 2 things. Forward and a defenseman. I think they need 1 more forward and 1 more defenseman. Looking here, I think they could pick up a center or a winger, someone to add some scoring depth, a little bit more. Just 1 more guy. That's what I want. 1 more guy for the team. Preferably on the left side or center. Maybe the right side too. And a good defenseman. Another good defenseman. Just 1 good defenseman that can take on like that right defense. To put it out there. And maybe goaltending if Varlamov is playing horrible. But we'll see. Mitch Korn will probably do a good job as the goaltending coach. And thanks for watching. This is NHL News Report. I'll see you next video. And let's get to 150 subs. Right now we're at 109. So let's get to 150. And yes, so like the video, didn't bell, comment, share, and let me comments below what you think about this team. Okay? See you next video. Bye.